All right. Once again, welcome back. We are here at the Gambia Sport News as usual. Today is Tuesday. This normally is called Road to AFCON, Road to Africos. Today, our main guest is no other than Coach Tom. Is our guest in the studio. We're very proud to have Coach Tom. We normally used to discuss a lot before the game and after the game. Today, we have the opportunity after making that back-to-back history in the Africa Cup of Nations. For the first time, Gambia have qualified, and for the first time, Gambia have made an achievement, to make this back-to-back AFCON history. And I know also coach will help us with some countries that have already, qualified for their first time in the Africa Cup of Nations, but cannot make it back to the AFCON. And I think, Gambia have made another history. And we all have to applaud the national team, that's Coach Tom and his players. It wasn't an easy journey, although it wasn't an easy journey. We have a lot of obstacles on the way. We have a lot of push and pull with Coach Tom. I myself have a lot of push and pull with Coach Tom, and I know we will discuss it here. Coach Tom, good to have you here at Gambia Sporting News.
Good evening. It's always a pleasure to be your guest and to talk. I'm happy.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, we have to congratulate you. You have did a tremendous job for Gambia, and for all the obstacles, all the push and pulls. All the we agree here and we disagree here. You know, many people used to call us say, "Look, please leave Coach Tom to do his job. He's the man of the seat." But I said, okay, we are also journalists. We also have to talk. But at the end of the day, we are all the same. We all want to see success for Gambian sport, and we have it. And Coach Tom, we are very proud, for this back to back. And once again, congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much. And I have no problem about different opinions. It's football, and that's a beautiful game. And every person, every coach has different opinions, and sometimes you can learn from each other, and it can enrich each other. And it's the freedom to have different thoughts. We try to do our best with our philosophy. We discuss also as technical team constantly, and sometimes we have also different opinions, and we try to find the best solution. And for me, journalists and the public, they are allowed to have different opinions.
Yeah.
On the end, it's the success of the country what counts.
Yeah, thank you very much, Coach. We only have 30 minutes, and we are very proud that Yankuba Minte, is starting for Feyenoord. How proud are you, Coach?
Yeah, it's fantastic. A year ago, around this period, I went to Denmark to see Yankuba Minte playing for the Odense. It was his third league match as professional football player in the first team from Odense. And now, 1 year later, he plays. Is signed by Newcastle. He played for the champion of Holland, Feyenoord, what is a huge club. Every home match for 50,000 people, and he starts a Champions League game, group stage game against Celtic Glasgow. I think we can be very proud also because of his performance for the national team. First last year against Guinea-Bissau in Turkey, and actually the qualifier where he was very crucial also with his goal. And now starting Champions League against Celtic Glasgow. I have to be ready to see that game because I want to support Yankuba.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. I also have my guest, my co-partner, who has to be Habib Fall. Habib, welcome to the show, and then we have to go straight to the point. Talk to Coach Tom. Road to AFCON.
Thank you, Mbai. Thank you, Mbai. Always a pleasure to be here. And then again, we have the man of the moment, Coach. Coach, once again, congrats. You know, we always have to start our show by saying congrats to you and your backroom staff and the players and everybody involved in this wonderful moment to be a Gambian fan. You know, going to the AFCON back to back. We are still in a very good mood. You know, we're still happy. We are still jubilated. So once again, to have you on this noble platform.
Thank you, Habib. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much.
You're
All right,
welcome,
thank you
Coach.
very much. Thank you very much, Coach. I might give you some question and later, leave you with Habib Fall where I do some technicality. We have to see where Coach Tom started this journey. It has been a long journey. Coach, first of all, how was the journey through the AFCON? Here we are now, second in the place. Mali top the group, and we are second, and we have qualified. How was the journey for this qualification round with you?
To be honest, it was a tough journey, maybe more tough than our first qualification. Again, we had to play pre-qualification against Chad. For me, it was very strange after our perfect performance at AFCON, finishing sixth, play quarterfinal, that we were forced to play pre-qualification. We had some difficulties. Chad was not a bad team, some good players, and that was the first difficult thing. Then the group with Mali, Congo, Brazzaville. Mali 51 in the world ranking, Congo, Brazzaville and currently 106, and we 119. And South Sudan, a very competitive team. But most of all, the fact that we couldn't play a home match. Last time when we qualified, we played all our three home matches, also against Djibouti. All our four matches we played at home, even with COVID. We had no fans in the last two games against Gabon and Angola, but we played at home. The players could stay in Ocean Bay Hotel. We could train in our stadium, play on our grass. We knew our home ground. Now we played 8 home matches, the two qualifiers and the 6 group stage matches, 8 times in a different stadium in a different circumstances, and it was not easy. It was difficult for all these reasons, but on the end, we got it, and I think we can be very satisfied with that.
All right, coach. Let's talk about Gambia qualifying on that group with different kind of players. You know, many people also point fingers at Coach Tom how he select his players. There was a lot of push and pull, but at the end of the day, what was the most important thing was we got that qualification and we got it. Coach, how was it with you when coming to select players? The mentality of the Gambian people. Some might say, look, this player is not playing, this player is playing, but Tom could prefer to call this Mr. X, who is not having that much playing time, than a player who have much playing time. How was it hectic with you, Coach Tom?
Yeah, first of all, I understand the statements of journalists and people. If you, from the outside world, look to things and you see players performing in the Swedish league or in the Turkish league or anywhere in the league, and he is not in the selection, and a player who has no club, or currently all the players have a club, but a player who doesn't play much is in the selection, sometimes it's confusing. But I have a few things to say about it.
Hmm.
We always choose players who we believe can execute our strategy. We have very limited time. Sometimes we have one training session, sometimes we have 2 sessions. We don't have much time to prepare players. So if we have to invite a new player who never played for the national team before, it can be difficult. We can also not make a miscast. We cannot select someone who is good for his club but doesn't perform for national team, because we
Yeah,
have to be spot on in that game. That's the first thing. So we need players who we sure think they can execute the tactics what we want. And the second thing is, naturally, we have only 23 players in the selection, and in selection we need alternatives for every position. Sometimes I read people mentioning names of players. This one has to be there, that one has to be there, and then the players who have to go out, they want strikers in, they want wingers in, and the players who have to go out are defenders or defending midfield players. That doesn't work like that. Naturally, we need an alternative for every position, for the goal, for the central defense, for the wing backs. For every position, we need alternatives. And sure, we have fantastic offensive players. In the
yeah,
last camp, we had 6 wingers. We have Aliou Federa, Abla Jallo, Ibrahim Koli, Yankuba Minti, Aliou Musa Barrow, and Bamba Sanyang. Then you have Modu Barrow, you have Sekou Touré, who could play in the front. You have so many offensive wing backs, of offensive wingers you could play, and number 10s, but you cannot select them all. You make choices, because you need also a defender, you need also defensive midfield player, you need different positions. So I understand the public, that they miss certain players, but it's the
yeah.
limitation of players we can select, 23, and that we always need players alternatives for different positions. And that based also on the fact that we have players who know the system, who know what is expected, and we know what we can expect. In qualifiers, it's difficult to take risks. In friendly games, it's easier to invite new players.
Well, coach, one might also ask another important question. How do you feel playing away from the Gambia with some crucial games that are more important that people always used to talk about? And also, coach, this is a question that is coming direct from me. People were always asking us why Coach Tom is not willing to come to the Gambia to have a press conference with the media, and then Coach Tom can join the Gambian delegate, head back to Morocco.
Yeah. First of all, why it's not nice to play away from Gambia. We experienced fantastic games. Remember the first game against Algeria, but also the DR Congo game. Stadium packed, great crowd,
Mhm.
fantastic atmosphere, and every time we were very successful. Sometimes scoring in the last minutes and big celebrations. We as coaching staff, we as players, we as federation, we want to play in the Gambia.
Yeah.
It's first of all for the federation much cheaper because we will play in our own home ground, in our own stadium, in the hotels, what cost much less than far away from home. Uh, the players would love to play for their home public, but also meet their families, their mothers, their fathers, their brothers, their sisters, and their friends. And we want to support, and we want a home advantage where we can say we train every training session in our stadium, and the opponent gets second quality pitches. Now we are in neutral grounds and we have not the
Mhm.
disadvantage of that. Why I'm not in the Gambia? First of all, it's a financial issue. If I have
Yeah.
to fly first to the Gambia, it will cost maybe €1,000 more only on flight plus hotel costs. And don't forget, I'm always available for journalists.
Yeah.
Every journalist who message me, radio, television, internet, websites, Facebooks, Instagram. I'm always reacting to every message. I know it's not a natural press conference where we are face to face and can touch each other, but for every journalist, I'm available. And many coaches all over
Yeah.
the world, they are available for a press conference, but after the press conference, they refuse to talk to journalists. I'm not at the press conference, but I'm always available for journalists. So it's a little bit of balance. That to do with finances. We are limited in funds. I'm in Europe to scout a lot, and I trust a lot my local staff with Alaji Sar, Alaji Marong, but also Lamin Sane, who is a very close friend and scout for me, the former Falcons coach. And they analyze the local players there, and we discuss daily base. Also Usman Drame, the team manager, and for the journalists in modern times with WhatsApp, with StreamYard, with Zoom, with Skype, I try to be always available for you.
Yeah, let me give you this one question, and then also hand over to Habib Fall. Gambians are always, asking this question. Gambians, we have a lot of good, talented players. When we attack our opponent, we easily, get what we wanted, like, scoring goals. For example, what happened against Congo. But they say that you prefer sitting back, watching your opponent before going out. What is the main tactics behind those recent court terms?
Yeah, I think the last game gave a wrong perception to people.
Mhm.
We played a very bad first half, and I'm the first
Yeah.
one to admit. And I'm the coach, and I'm responsible for my team. So I'm
Mhm.
also responsible if they have a bad first half. But we never wanted to play that first half like that. There was never an instruction to sit back like that, to give bad passes, to be nervous. We wanted to control the game. We chose a midfield with Ibu Adams, Alassane Mane, and Hamza Berry because I thought they could hold the ball. They were strong in ball possession with Ibrahima Colley and Musa Barrow on the wings, strong players who can hold the ball, and Hassan Cisse, a ball holder up front. And the idea was not to attack wild because we were 0-0 qualified, and we know that in the second half we can make the difference. But the idea was to control the game, to have ball possession, to knock the ball around, and to create opportunities. But from the first second, we lost control over the match. We were very nervous. Players who normally perform well make mistakes, and that happens. I think it had to do with the earthquake, with the little sleep they had,
Mhm.
2 nights
Mhm.
sleeping outside, and the nerves. It was never the intention. Plus, some of our major players had limited game time. Ibrahima Koli could play maximum 60 minutes. He had not trained and played. Even Musa Barrow had not played for his club for Bologna for a long period and was busy with a transfer to Al Tawun.
Mhm.
Abla Jallo we got the news on Monday when we traveled that he was not released by his club. We had to force his release, but we could only use him 45 minutes. So we opted to use him in the second half because that's the moment we have to do it. And I think it's naturally, I'm a coach who like a good organization. Preferable, I don't like to concede goals.
Yeah.
And I think we need the speed in the counter attack because we have a lot of speedy players to infiltrate in the defense when they are out of position, the defense of the opponent, clear. But also because we don't lose too much unnecessary energy by running crazy and putting no pressure in the first half. So we save an energy, and in the second half, many games or almost all the games in the second half, we are stronger than the opponent and we decide the games. And maybe Congo was qualified in the first half, but on the end we were qualified, and that's the only thing what counts. And we had the similar things in the past with Tunisia at AFCON, with Mali at AFCON. We had similar games with Chad and Djibouti and many other games. On the end, the one who is victorious on the end is the one who wins, and that fits our strategy. But naturally, I had hoped that we would have played a better first half against Congo Brazzaville, and I never wanted to be 2-0 behind. That was never in our plan.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. We almost have almost 70 more minutes for you because we want to watch Young Community's game. Habifal, all is yours for now.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Coach. Thank you for
Yeah.
the wonderful deliberation. I think in our country, the Gambia, there are questions that people normally talk about in the streets, in the carpet, or in the post. One of them might have just mentioned it is about seeing from to come to Gambia and have a proper press conference. Now I heard what you said concerning about money and forget stuff, but I was also thinking, Kuwait can still be in Belgium. I mean, you can still be in Belgium, and maybe they might just organize but something is making noise. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah. I think from your side.
I listen to you, and I think it's a good idea. I think
Yeah,
it's
I was just thinking like you can still be in Belgium, and then after releasing your squad, your 25 or 30-man squad, some can still be in Belgium, and then they might organize themselves, and then they might have 10 sport journalists who can come online to Australia and then ask you relevant questions. I understand that you are giving them, most of them, to have a short interview with you, but I think it would have been better if they can organize a Zoom or StreamYard online interview whereby you could answer all the relevant questions concerning how you select your team.
Yeah, I think Abib, I think that's a very good idea, and I think we have to consider with the media officers to do that for the future. I then it's a mix. It costs no extra money on flight tickets, and journalists
Yeah.
can ask questions. I think it's a very good idea, and I will take it up with Federation media officers, and it will be a very good idea for the near future. Like you said, StreamYard, Zoom. There are many opportunities to do that. Thank you very much. I fully agree with you.
Yeah, and the other question is always there is always this debate of player selection, which is normal in football. It's happening all over the world, even in England or Germany. Fans will always say Mr. X and Y should be there. So I received some fans' questions concerning about Stading Janko. He's back to his Switzerland. He's playing, and I also have a texter asking me about Sekou Touré. We have been working with Grenoble. He has been, developing. So, what can you say about these two players?
Yeah. First of all, about Sadie Yanko. Sadie Yanko was always in my selection. But when Noah Santos Sundberg is fit, and I
Mm-hmm.
know that Noah Santos Sundberg didn't play his best game against Congo Brazzaville, but in all the previous matches in AFCON and all the qualifiers, Noah Santos Sundberg was really a reliable right wingback for us.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Santos Sundberg was our priority. I had in May communication with Sadie Yanko. He was invited for the national team, but I told him that Noah Santos Sundberg is my first choice, of our first choice right wingback, and
Mm-hmm.
that Sadie would have to come to sit on the bench.
Okay.
And Saidi told me that he doesn't want to be part of the team if he has to sit on the bench. So
Okay.
he only want to come if he start, and because of the much good quality games Noah Santos Sundberg delivered for us as a right wing back, we opted that Noah is our first choice right wing back. And I know the last game was not his best performance, but you don't rate someone on one game. You rate someone on many games. In any league match, players have an off day, and that happened. So Noah is our first choice, and it is the choice of Saidi not to be part of the selection because he doesn't want to be on the bench in the national team. About Sekou Touré, I invited Sekou Touré last year in November to come to Turkey for our training camp and friendly against Guinea-Bissau. There was a problem, what I have still no knowledge, exact knowledge of. He was in the airport and then he didn't travel. There was a lot of strange communication. So after that, I didn't call him up for the games in March, June, and also not for the game in now last in September for a few reasons. First of all, we never played in the team. He's a number 10. He's type of Ablai Jallo. I saw him playing together with Bamba Sanyang last year when FC Metz played against Grenoble. I went for Ablai, Bamba, and Sekou Touré. I saw him playing. He's a decent player. But I believe that with Bamba Sanyang, who sometimes play also number 10, Ablai Jallo and Hamza Berry, who can play on number 10, we have a lot of quality players who already played for the national team, who know already the structure. Sekou Touré, I would like to see in a friendly game before I really can judge what he can bring for the national team. People say he play week in, week out. It's also not fully correct because the last weeks he is not anymore in the first 11 from Grenoble, but it's a player who I follow. I saw him last year live playing. I spoke with him. I'm in touch with him. It's a little bit sad that he couldn't come last year in November to Turkey because that would have been a good opportunity in a friendly game and in training camp to see him. For the qualifiers, I already told you, it's sometimes difficult to call someone up who you never trained with, who doesn't know the strategy, and to take a risk to play against these teams in the qualifiers. But we follow it.
So what will you tell to people who are saying that some have to raise the bar really high, meaning players should be invited just based on their team form. Like if a player is on top of his game with his club, the player should be given chance to come
Uh,
to the squad. What's your take on that? And then one more question. I also have a texter asking me about Ibrahim Majaju, the goalkeeper at Estonia, who is having a
yeah,
wonderful time there. So those are the two things I want to ask.
yeah.
That you have to
Uh,
lift the bar really high based on players should come to the national team based on their form with their club.
Yeah, I understand that point of view of players need to perform in their club to be in the national team, but I don't agree with that. First of all, I
Okay.
like that my players perform in their clubs. I like that they play, and it's an advantage. But you can play in your club because your coach play a different system than I play, or have different demands. I want a right wing back with these qualities. Your club coach want a right wing back with other qualities. But another player can maybe not play in his club, not because he's a bad player, but the coach doesn't like him, or the club just bought a player from an agent who they get money off, and they force him to play to make transfers. In European football, in international football, not everything is always fair, and sometimes players deserve to play for their club but don't play. And if I only select players playing by their club, I would not select the players who suit the national team. And I have to change because players play 1 week for the club, 3, 4 weeks, 3 months, 4 months, get injured or not playing, come back, and maybe there's an alternative in the club. But for us, he is still the best solution. So I prefer to judge on the performance on national team level, what they can deliver for us, a priority to what they do for the club. I like that they play with the club. I prefer that they play every week with the club. But some players Suleiman Mare didn't play much for this club, and I know the reason. I know what happened in the club, but still he was always performing for us all these years. So do I have to put Suleiman Mare because there's a problem within the club why they don't use him? I don't think so. About Ibrima Jarju. Ibrima Jarju is a fantastic goalkeeper. Play week in, week out, very good. Get awarded in the Estonian league. But at this moment of time, we have two number one goalkeepers. That's Babuka Gay and Modu Job. Babuka Gay played the last 2 years, very stable, good. And Modu Job is the experienced father of the goalkeepers, who is a very important mentor for the team on and off the pitch. We like that. Also, when something happened, he is there. And then is the balance between Lamin Sad and Ibrima Jarju. And it's not a role to play, it's a role to be the third goalkeeper. And in the past, we selected Ibrima Jarju and we've also selected Lamin Sad. And for us, we balance them. We don't have to judge because Lamin played third league in Sweden and Ibrima played top league in Estonia. There is not so big difference in level between top league in Estonia and third league in Sweden. So both are very good goalkeepers, and I see both in the future fighting for the number one spot even because they are both very young and they have still a big development. And maybe next camp Ibrima Jarju is there. He was there, I think, when we played in Turkey against Guinea-Bissau. He was in the selection, and we are very satisfied. He's always in the pre-selection. I always have a pre-selection of 30 players with 4 goalkeepers. Ibrima Jarju is there. I always communicate with him before and even afterwards. So he is on our list. But yeah, it's a choice we make, and people can have different opinions. But it's really about the role then of third goalkeeper and not the role of first or second goalkeeper, because I don't want to change in these positions too much. It's important for goalkeepers to know the stability in the team.
Yeah.
Okay,
Coach.
coach.
Finally, my
Mhm.
okay.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I just have
That was a good one.
yeah. Yeah, coach. I just have one more question before letting you leave because you said you want to watch
We
Yankuba Minty.
we all want to watch, by. We all want to watch.
The new darling of the Gambia football. Coach, what is the level of preparation? Are we seeing new players in the upcoming AFCON qualifiers? AFCON tournament in Africa Coast. Are we seeing fresh players, or are we seeing the same players, or are we seeing players like Chuka, Mubaro, many players that have already missed Yusuf and Jai?
Yeah.
Some people are asking for Oscar Bob.
Yeah.
Asking for a lot of players. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of things will also depend about availability of players. I hope, for instance, Steve Trawali, Ibrima Darbu, they were a year out. You never know what happened with players. Are they available or not? We have to see. Oscar Bob, fantastic player, but at the moment I don't think he want to play for us. I think he aims higher for that. Modu Jarju, he just played the first league match. Very happy for that. About Modubero, let me say very short because I see the name Modubero always jumping up. Modubero is a fantastic player, but Modubero was invited for every training camp and every national team match since the Africa Cup till June this year and refused always to come. So against Chad, he didn't show up. Against South Sudan, he didn't show up. Against Guinea-Bissau, he didn't show up. Against Mali, he didn't show up. And again, against South Sudan, he didn't show up. And so a player who doesn't feel the need to come to the national team for a year, when we always invite him, then we say, okay, you need also a little bit pride and hunger to play for your country. So, and we have so many good wingers. Yankuba Minte, we're going to see him now. I think he is a fantastic new Modubero with the same speed, with the same qualities, only 10 years younger. And we have a lot of alternatives. I'm looking forward to our under-20 players, Adama Bojang and other players, if they can play in the first team of Stade Reims. So I'm going to follow the coming months. I hope now October, November, December, players develop well. I hope everyone stay fit. The majority will be the same. You can expect naturally James Gomez, Omar Colley, Ibu Touré, Noah Santos Sundberg, Ibu Adams, Alassane Mane, Hamza Berry, Abla Jallo, Musa Barrow, Ibrahima Koli, Badar Mossi, Hassan Cisse, all these players I just mentioned, and others, they will be there. The question is, are we only allowed to have 23 players, like in the
Yeah,
past? The last AFCON was 28. That was
yeah.
because of COVID. So
COVID.
also
Yeah.
these things play a role. But I'm gonna follow all these players who I mentioned and other players, and we will see who is ready for the national team. I don't know if we have a training camp in October. It depends on budgets. It will be maybe difficult. But in November we play World Cup qualifiers, and in December we will have a good training camp. And hopefully everyone is fit, and hopefully the choice will be very difficult. That all the players are ready to play, and it will be a tough choice for us.
Good.
Mike, Mike,
Can
Mike,
you
Mike,
please
Mike,
shed light on this? Yeah,
Mike,
Ali,
give
I
me a
just
second,
want
Mike.
yeah, I just want to some light of it because of you have seen Ali Sow, who is already on a surgery, and it has bring a lot of confusion between Gambians among ourselves. You know, some people have been attacking Ali Sow, some people have been attacking coach and and his staff. Coach, finally we have seen the young boy who have just gone on surgery. Was this the main reason why Ali did not show up?
We are very surprised. Ali Sowe was invited 15 August, like every other player for the national team. He
Yeah.
informed Usman Drame on Friday, the Friday before. I forgot the date. The Friday before we had to travel to the camp. He informed him that he had an appointment on Wednesday and he could only fly on Thursday and would only arrive on Friday,
Okay.
2 days before national team duty. He never spoke about any medical issue. He played that weekend still a match. And more to say, on Thursday, 7th of September, when we were 3 days before national team duty, he trained with his club. You can find that on the Facebook site of Ankara Gucu. So the days that we were training, he trained. He never spoke to us. I have all the messages in my WhatsApp. Usman Drame has all the messages. He never spoke about any medical reason or medical appointment. So when we saw the news today in the media or yesterday, we were also surprised because why would the player not say, "I have an injury"? He told us he could travel on Thursday, would arrive on Friday. We thought it's too late to arrive when we start the camp on Monday. We need to prepare the team, and we opted the weekend before to call up Ali Sowe. So Usman Drami was the first one informed on Friday. I got during the camp on Tuesday a message from Ali Sowe where he didn't talk about the medical appointment. He spoke about an appointment and he spoke about flying on Thursday, arriving on Friday. And that's all the news I have. So I'm surprised. And probably he's not lying. He has a medical appointment. He had a surgery. It's said. I hope he recover well. He was selected in against Mali. He came that time also a few days later than the rest of the team. I excused him for that. I didn't make a problem for that. He was allowed to come straight to Mali and skip 2 3 days training camp. He played in both games. He was selected for the South Sudan game during the summer break, but he told us that he had a medical issue. He didn't come to South Sudan, and he was selected again. So more than that, as a national team coach, I can't do, and more information I don't have. And I hope he recovers soon. He is a very good player, but yeah, we had no more information than he had an appointment on Wednesday.
Okay. Have you?
Yeah, I was just trying to ask, Coach, the fact that Modu Baro didn't turn up for several invitations, there might be a reason. Did you guys try to find out exactly why he is not coming, or did he give any reason why he is not coming, or he is not honoring the our invitation to come and play for the national team?
No, I mean, the team manager is the one who invite the players on the end. There were moments that on Sunday or even on Monday, the day that we were traveling, we received an email that he was sick or he was injured or always something. Never 2 weeks before, never 3 days before. It always created problems, and we had to call up last minute calls. Sometimes people said, "Oh, why the coach called this player up last minute?" I give you the example that we had to call up Noah Marom against South Sudan the first time. That was because several players cancelled the day that we were flying and we had to call up players who are hungry to come, who are ready to come. We have previous players. I never mentioned this, but we have players who everyone cried for, who refused in the past to come when they got called up. And reliability is sometimes important. And for me, if a player get invited 6, 7 times and always has a reason not to come, then I think you are not hungry to play. And we have alternatives on that position. He's a fantastic player, but we don't have to beg for players to play for their country. It's representing your country. It's the highest you can achieve as a player. Many players made career thanks to the national team, and then we find other players. And sure, on these offensive positions, we have a lot of players. It's always said, if I invite players, it's because I want them. If I didn't invite them, people can complain. But if I invite them and we arrange flight tickets for them, it's not up to us to step in the plane. It's up to them. And we don't know the exact reasons. We got reasons of being sick. We got reasons of being injured about Modu Barrow. And sometimes we didn't get any response. But the exact reason is naturally never known by us.
But now you see how important it is to be having that uh, press conference, even though you might be away, because a proper press conference with all the media houses will stop the spread of fake news or speculation. Because if you are there, those guys will ask you very, very important question. Why Mr. X is not here? Why Mr. Y? And then you have the chance to talk to the Gambian people, and most people will stop saying things they have no clue about. So this press conference or on Zoom or StreamYard is even becoming more and more important
Yeah,
for you,
yeah,
for us, for everybody involved to avoid speculations.
yeah,
So I
Yeah.
think we can end this kind of rumors by having a proper setup whereby you might be in Belgium, and then after you release your team, there's a specific time given. They will select 10 people or so to come online and talk to you directly, and with that, we will save some of the negative energy coming out from the press, because nobody want to have those kinds of negative energy before an important game. We all fine. People might always have different opinion, but this press conference, I think, is something GFF should look into, and they have to make it happen.
I fully agree with you, and I think this communication helps us. And I will discuss
yeah.
with our media officers. And before the World Cup qualifiers in November,
Yeah,
we're gonna do this. We're gonna do
Thank
this.
you,
Fully agree.
thank
yeah.
you, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Finally, we have to leave you. You got to enjoy your new superstar.
Yeah, we're gonna enjoy all our new superstar. We are so happy
We
with
are all
such young
watching.
talent, and
Yeah,
let's hope he stays safe and healthy, because I think we can celebrate a lot with him. But he's not the only one. We have a lot of good players, but
yeah,
naturally
absolutely.
we're very happy with him. Thank you very much for the great talk, as always. Great questions, and it's a pleasure. And hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you,
Thank you.
coach.
See you in Africa, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. That was Coach Tom. Thank you very much.